Right, good afternoon. Let me just quickly also add my voice to the numerous ones which have appreciated the support of the sponsors of this program, the National Wood Culture Society. I must say that one of the exciting aspects of this symposium, from my personal observation, is to witness the different approaches which people are submitting or educating us on in respect to the preservation of wood, more of the interdisciplinary approach to it. And I'm happy also to touch on the role of language and beliefs in the sustainability of the forest. Limiting my scope to the Asante region of Ghana. The Asante region is located in the southern part of Ghana, and it is the third largest of the administrative regions in Ghana. It occupies a total land surface of about 24,389 kilometers square. And much of the region is situated between 150 to 300 meters above sea level. The region is endowed with spectacular lakes, scarps, waterfalls, forest reserves, national parks, and wildlife sanctuaries. If you observe from the map, the portion, the one on the right, on my right-hand side here, the portion in green is the area that the Ashanti region occupies. Now, the problem that I'm talking about, language and beliefs, which in this presentation I call key intangible cultural elements, have over the years contributed to the sustainability of the forest in the Ashanti community. But much has not been written about it. It has not really attracted much scholarly attention. Much emphasis is placed on the scientific ways of preserving the forest. And there is therefore the need to study and document these unique roles that culture plays in conserving the forest. The objectives that I have today to look at is to discuss the role of selected Asante proverbs in sustaining the forest, to study the implied significance of folk songs in sustaining the forest, and then also to examine the role of beliefs in sustainability of the forest. I must be quick to tell you that this is an ongoing research, and therefore I keep on adding the input as it comes. Just an overview of the methodology I'm adopting. Basically, I'm going the qualitative way, employing mainly the descriptive method of research and using interviews and observations as the main instruments for collecting data in this regard. And the framework for the study consists mainly of the traditional authorities, the elderly men in the society, the traditional priests and priestesses, the chainsaw operators, the farmers, the foresters, and others. Now, I go straight to the language, discussion of findings. The study revealed that the Ashantis use proverbs as a main medium to pass on their rich cultural traditions and to communicate expected code of behavior to the young generations with a view to advise, correct, and educate them on the need to preserve the forest and other natural resources. For example, the Asantes have some of these local proverbs which aims at educating people on preserving the forest. There's one which is said, and I have literally translated them in English. The first one, which literally means, it is not good to eat all that you have in a day. which advises and encourages members of the Asante community to use the forests and other natural resources judiciously and avoid exploitation of these natural reserves within a shorter period. There are several of the proverbs, but I'll just speak about 4 of them. Then the second one says that, if one tree stands in the direction of the wind, it falls. And this is also one way of telling the citizens and the indigenes of the people that there is the need to plant more trees, since the entire society cannot rely on one tree for its survival. And then other proverbs which literally says, a single tree cannot make a forest. It's a form. And then there's also one that says that it is from a small seed that the huge Iroko tree has its own beginning. Several of these proverbs have been found in the local language to be very, very significant in educating the people on the need to sustain and preserve the environment. Also, the study has shown so far that folk songs have their own way of sustaining the environment. It seeks basically to advise the people on how to keep the environment, how to sustain the forest in particular, in one way or the other. Words of Asante native songs also play a very significant role in sustaining the environment. And it was revealed that music in Asante community is their way of life, and it does not just present itself as a form of entertainment, but also it seeks to address the Asante's perspective about preserving the environment. Songs on bush burning, afforestation, and others are composed and sung by members of the Asante community to educate and advise themselves on the need for sustaining the environment. For example, I just put 2 of these songs here. This song that goes like this. Dachi o dachi. Dachi asemti na yedi kodua. Yedoni se yekotu kodua. Yitwa faho. It is an extract of the songs which says that it is because of the future, the need to have plants surviving. That is why when you are weeding and clearing the land, you meet a plantation. For example, a banana plantation, you don't cut it, but you weed around it, because in future you need it and you have to depend on it. Then the second one also says that a kombeba dachi, usum kwadua, usum bodia sukwadu. A kombeba dachi, usum bodia sukwadu, a kombeba dachi, which says that one person will be hungry for some time to come, and therefore, if you don't preserve the tree, you cut it, you go hungry for some time that will come. Such songs, a lot of them, is found in the folk songs of the Asante people that I'm studying. And I noticed that they all go a long way in preserving the forest. Then I've also looking at the role of traditional beliefs in sustaining the forest. And this cannot be overemphasized, actually. The forest amongst the Asantes of Ghana is believed to be a living realm full of potential powers and abode where ancestors, gods, and other spirits live. And they believe that these spirits and deities in the forest reveal themselves to the people who go there during sacred days or without the permission of without performing the necessary rites. The sacred days are considered to be the resting days for the deities of the forest and other nature spirits to inhabit the trees, and anyone who goes there during the period faces the anger of these spirits, they believe. The idea was that the forest should have a period of regeneration, and therefore such proverbs, such beliefs are kept in place. In addition, the study revealed that the forest is a living terrain managed by a population of venerated spirits. And because of this belief, one has to appease the managers of this forest before he or she enters the forest. For example, during the study, my graduate assistant had to go through these. He had to enter into the forest, and then it was required upon him that before he does that, since it's a sacred place, he presents a fowl. The fowl needs to be washed by the river, which is just at the entrance of the forest. The feet of the fowl is washed. And then you present also liquid to be used for performing libation. After washing the fowl's feet, the liquid is given for everybody to have a taste of it. It is a compulsory requirement that you do. And then after that is done, a special hole, as could be found there, which is believed to have been created as a result of continuous pouring of the libation. The alcohol is poured into the hole, believing that it is an offering given to the deities of the forest. And the person seeking to enter into the forest, which in this case, on the slide, the gentleman kneeling down, my research assistant, have to kneel down and request for the protection of the deity and acceptance into the forest before he is able to do that. And when that has been done, then it means that he qualifies now to enter into the forest. They sprinkle a lot of the alcohol on the faces of the people and make incantations, make prayers. And the prayer is what I've just been summarized there. I just read about 3 sentences. When I say it, you respond, where? Are you ready, please? So he says that, oh, pechina mofua, abofuno jensa, you respond, yeah. Petri jensa, yeah. You know, where means that let it be, let it be. As we enter into the forest, let it be that we go safely and come safely. Then they say where means that let it be. So they make such prayers, and they believe that after doing this, they have the permission now to enter into the forest, and therefore they walk confidently in without having any form of intimidation. Animals which are usually offered for this sacrifice, like in the case of the fowl, are not killed, but they are left unharmed in the forests. And this plate shows the fowl that was used, they are left. They believe that if the deity does not accept your sacrifice, you will go back home and you will meet the fowl resting at the entrance of your door. It means that they have not accepted it. The repercussion is that you have to go back and propitiate the land. Now, the study again confirmed that trees and other plants in the forest also are abode for spirits. And McCaskey, 1995, stated that the spirit of a tree can either be light or heavy. And those with heavy spirits are dangerous, he says, and vindictive. And in view of this, trees and other plants in the forest with malevolent spirits require propitiation before you use them. Now, some few instances, just before I wrap up, of trees, of branches of trees in some forest reserve which fell on people and killed them, which they believe wasn't just natural coincidence, but was as a result of the aggression of the deities in the forest. Personal interview of Nana Kofi-Appiah. Nana Kofi-Appiah is a chief to one of the forest reserves in the Ashanti region. And he said that it got to a point that a chief of the town who was doubling up as a timber contractor organized his people illegally, not performing their rights, to enter into the forest to cut down some trees. And immediately they entered the forest, a sudden heavy windstorm started, and instantly the tree fell and killed 2 of its operators, scaring the people from going by such approaches of not seeking the right permission before entering into the forest. A more religious way of preserving the forest. And then there are also have been data on, so far collected on people who got temporarily lost in the forest, which they believe that are to be the inhabitants of spirits. There was this gentleman, Entry, who is an inmate of Kenyasi, and he testified that he got lost in the forest 3 days, temporary. What happened was that he entered into the forest without performing the various rites which have just been demonstrated. He said that he heard people shouting and calling his name. He noticed that a day passed, second day, third day. He also tried calling back. You could hear people calling you, but you cannot see where they are. You try tracing them and you just revolve in a circular form. And a lot of such narrations have come up. And I got to confirm that these beliefs is really deterring the people from going into the forest. As a result, a lot of these sacred forests have been found to be still preserved in the Asante region. So far, about 15 of them are under the custody of religious and traditional leaders, regulated by these traditional beliefs. And just these plates show examples of some of them, with varied species of timber. This is the Namofua forest, this is the Kobri forest, and this is the Bobri forest. Just because of time, just rushing through, with several species of trees found in them. The findings, in conclusion, findings of this study so far have confirmed that intangible culture, which in this study was limited to language, beliefs, and values, play very important roles as far as conserving the forest is concerned. Recommendations are therefore made for further research in this area of conservation mechanisms. I thank you very much.